Checking back in on the USMJ sector, starting with MJNA, and I said that we would see a spike in volume and a break of this tight channel back on Friday, and we did see a spike in volume, but we haven't seen a break in this channel. So what that tells me is that there's a decent amount of shares still available, and we've got clear resistance. 12.5 is now a multiple top, and 11.4 is now a multiple bottom. So this is the tightening range where my videos. Go check back on the US videos that I've been putting out. I've certainly been putting out fewer and far between recently, and that's because of the action. It's playing out exactly as anticipated with the higher lows, lower highs, tightening range. This is what I call reaching an equilibrium after the dump following the vote. So here's that tight range. A break of 12.5 will be a bull break, and we'll be looking up at 14.5, the next resistance, and a break of 11.4, and we're looking down at 10.4 and 8 cents as supports from there. We're on the verge of a bullish MACD cross if we do get that break of 12.5 going forward. But again, if we don't see a break of these levels, we're obviously not going to see much movement. And we need movement and volatility for trading. So this volume has picked up. We got double the volume on Friday compared to Thursday, but the inability to break that price tells me that it's potentially dilution. I'd have to read the financials to get more specifics, but either way, there are shares available where you would expect, or at least I would expect, something like CBIS, which had the same tight pattern the past few days, a clear bull break on increasing volume. That's what I expected for MJNA. Didn't necessarily expect a bull break, but I expected a clear break on increasing volume. We got the increasing volume, but no break. Weekly time frame shows you how tight we are, and it might be because of this 200-week moving average resistance, and that's at about 12.4, I would say. It's not exactly 12 cents. We're rounding here, and you can see it's shortly or just above that 12-cent line. So that's rejected the price the past few weeks that have attempted to get over that level. So it's a clear, tough resistance, and we have to see the bulls get above 12.5 and close on the weekly chart back above this 200-week resistance. Look at the volume just completely drop off on the weekly time frame as the range gets tighter and tighter, letting us know that a break is imminent. So for CBIS, we already got that break. The difference between CBIS and MJNA is here's our reaching an equilibrium. Here's our high and our low, lower high, higher low, and then a lower low. So this is a bear trend, lower highs and lower lows the past 6 weeks, whereas MJNA is a tightening trend because it hasn't hit those lower lows. It did hold a higher low. So CBIS did make a bull break, get over that middle Bollinger Band, 0.041, solid bull volume, on the verge of a bullish MACD cross. Next resistance after 439, we're looking up at 5 cent psychological and then 5.3. But again, the overall trend has a bearish lean over the past 6 weeks, whereas MJNA does not have that occurring just yet. Weekly time frame for CBIS, bull break after consolidation, and you can see that decreasing volume. This week we're going to see a clear increase in volume. After 4 weeks of decreasing volume, we have 3 trading days left to go, and we're pretty close to surpassing the previous week's total volume already. Checking in on hemp, it is even weaker as we've got our lower high and lower lows. We did have a double bottom at 2.6, but you can see the bulls have not done anything to get upside. We need a bull break of 0.32. That would see a bullish MACD cross, but again, tons of weakness. And if we look at the weekly chart, we're not too far from the lowest price we've seen in years, and that's down at 0.019. So that support of 0.026 is a must hold, but this is a weak chart. It's a weak chart, and I know people that are long and bullish and love this stock and have married their positions are going to call me all kinds of names, but look at that chart. There is absolutely nothing bullish about this chart from 2014 to now over the past 2 years. Absolutely nothing. There are a lot of people that are down 90 to 98% in that time frame because they went long, they fell in love with the stock, they had no exit plan, and they figured, oh, it'll go up eventually. But if you have a company with a poor debt structure and a poor share structure and shares keep hitting the market, nothing's going to happen. And look at the volume. Volume in 2014, 121 million, huge gains to the upside. Volume in 2016, 258 million, nothing. That's because the shares have ballooned to insane amounts, and this company is very poorly structured with debt and shares. That's just a fact. It's my opinion and a fact. You can't argue in any way, shape, or form that this is a bullish chart. TRTC, extremely weak. Look at the dump we had from the Election, lower highs and lower lows, short-term bounce on decreasing bull volume. Let us know to not believe that move. Rejecting from the 200-day moving average resistance. Trying to build some support in the upper $20 range. We're going to have to see a move back over 372 in order for the bulls to form a higher low. The higher low part's established, but we have to break 372 to get that higher high. So clearly still belonging to the bears. Trying to hold some moving average support here. And a must-hold level is 222. And we've dropped down to 221, so essentially that's a double bottom at that level. Clearly the bears have been in control for 6 weeks and trying to amount a bounce, but not successful at this point. Certainly a better looking chart comparatively to hemp, but obviously bulls would have liked to establish and maintain higher lows, and once we broke 271, that was a bearish break compared to where we've been trading all of 2016. Last, we've got GRNH, yet another big clear bear since the sell the news reaction to the election. Lower highs, lower lows, trying to form a higher low now, and we have to break 0.0797 to see that higher high. So clear support and must hold support, 0.0565, 0.0501. On the verge of a bullish MACD cross, middle Bollinger Band resistance, need to break 0.0797, and again, big time pullback, but we still have higher lows and higher highs over all of 2016. So much more bullish looking chart than a lot of those out there. And look at this rejection from the 100-week resistance time and time again. It became support, and now we're back testing and holding that level as support. So I would say that 100-week is a must hold, trying to form a bullish reversal candlestick, but even then we must confirm it next week, as we've seen a bullish reversal candlestick before with no confirmation. So to sum it all up, MJNA is a very tight range that's going to have a clear break, and it's going to be very tradable when that break does occur, either 12.5 to the upside or 11.4 to the downside. CBIS is the clear lead bull in the short term, but it still has a lot of work to do to change this trend back in the bull's favor. Hemp is just a really, really bearish long-term stock, and every time we see a bounce, I would absolutely expect further shares to be hitting the market, whether that's from debt holders, convertible debt, whatever it is. There's lots of shares here. TRTC, also very weak, trying to form a higher low and get that higher high, same as GRNH, trying to turn around the lower high pattern on the daily time frame. Still a lot of work to do for the bulls. So the sector overall is very weak. We've got bearish fundamentals with Sessions potentially becoming the Attorney General. The whole sector is scared because of that. We had the first ever NYSE IPO, IIPR. It was an absolute disaster. Nobody wanted shares. They were going to offer 8.75 million shares. Then they knocked it down to 5 million, then down to 4 million, then down to 3.3 million shares. Nobody wanted to buy them, and nobody still wants to buy them. It's dismal volume on the market. So the U.S. market currently does not favor these marijuana companies, and you see people looking up at Canada and a much more favorable legal environment. That's why there's hundreds of millions of dollars pouring into that sector. That's why all of those charts are in blue sky breakout, or were in blue sky breakout, but are very clearly in uptrends. And if you can show me some U.S. marijuana stocks that have weekly charts that look like Canadian stocks, I would love to see them, because none of these original names have them. They've been around for 6 years. They've been diluting for 6 years. And the safe haven to be for less risk, more reward is Canada. It's just as simple as that. There are ways to get into the Canada sector in the U.S. Fidelity allows you to trade them. There's a Canadian IPO coming up Friday. I'm really looking forward to that. So I hate to bash all these names and be bearish. There's trading opportunity, absolutely, but long term, there is not favorable conditions for these names. Thanks for watching. Have a great night. Have an exit plan.